Welcome to the Network Plus Prepcast, your dedicated audio companion for mastering every objective on the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. This series is produced by baremetalcyber.com. Classful addressing is an essential foundational topic that appears in both real-world network design history and the objectives of the Network Plus certification. In this episode, titled Understanding Classful IPv4 Addressing, we'll explore how classful addressing originally divided the IPv4 space and why it's still a useful concept. While modern networks now use classless addressing techniques, classful addressing is frequently referenced in exams and educational materials to build foundational understanding. Before the introduction of classless interdome routing, classful addressing served as the standard method for allocating IP address blocks across networks of varying sizes. Classful addressing is directly referenced in the certification's IPv4 objectives. It often appears in introductory subnetting problems, where learners are expected to assume default subnet masks based on address classes. Understanding classful boundaries and how they were used in early network design can give you a significant advantage when tackling basic addressing and subnetting questions on the exam. While not used in current production environments, classful addressing is still a tested concept because it helps establish the fundamentals of IP structure, allocation, and default subnetting behavior. Classful addressing is a method that divides the entire IPv4 address space into 5 distinct classes. These classes A, B, C, D, and E are determined by the value of the first octet in a given IP address. Each class was designed to support networks of different sizes, and each is associated with a predefined default subnet mask. These default masks originally guided how routers and hosts interpreted addresses before more flexible subnetting schemes were introduced. While classful addressing is no longer used in modern routing, it still serves as an important learning tool for those studying IP networking. Class A addresses range from 1.0.0.0 to 126.255.255.255. These addresses were designed to support very large networks with millions of host devices. The default subnet mask for Class A is /8, meaning the first 8 bits identify the network, while the remaining 24 bits are used for hosts. Because of their size, Class A networks were typically reserved for large organizations and government entities. Their generous host capacity made them ideal for early internet growth, but they also contributed to inefficient use of the address space. Class B addresses span from 120.0.0.0 to 191.255.255.255.255. To the default subnet mask for Class B is /16, which allocates 16 bits for the network portion and 16 bits for hosts. This configuration supports tens of thousands of hosts per network, making Class B suitable for organizations that needed more scalability than Class C could offer, but didn't require the immense size of a Class A block. Class B offered a compromise between address range and availability. Class C addresses occupy the range from 192.0.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.255.245. Just close links. For small networks, such as branch locations, the default subnet mask for Class C is /24, with 24 bits assigned to the network and just 8 bits for host addresses. This setup allows for up to 254 usable host addresses per network, which aligns well with the needs of small business networks. Class C networks were the most commonly assigned blocks due to their balance of simplicity and address conservation. Class D and Class E address ranges serve very different purposes from Classes A, B, and C. Class D addresses range from 220.0.0.0.0 to 239.245.255.255.255. These are not assigned to individual hosts and are used instead for group communications. Class E addresses, ranging from 240.0.0.0 to 255.0.0.0 255.255.255.255. Class D nor Class E addresses are used in typical host-based networking or included in normal subnetting exercises. The class of an IP address is determined primarily by the high-order bits in the first octet. This rule, known as the first octet rule, makes it possible to determine the class by analyzing the starting bits of the address. For example, a first octet beginning with a 0-bit indicates a Class A address, while one beginning with 10 indicates Class B, and 110 identifies Class C. These binary patterns not only help define address boundaries, but also correspond to default subnet masks. Understanding these starting bits is critical for interpreting classful address types on the exam. Each class in the classful addressing scheme has a specific default subnet mask associated with it. Class A uses a default subnet mask of /8, Class B uses /16, and Class C uses /24. These default masks were fixed and did not allow for flexibility in dividing up address space. As a result, networks were often allocated far more addresses than they needed. Even though this rigid structure is no longer practical, you may still be asked to identify default subnet masks based on class when solving basic subnetting problems on the certification exam. The number of addresses supported by each class varies significantly due to the size of their host portions. Class A networks can support over 16 million hosts, making them suitable only for the largest environments. Class B networks provide capacity for more than 65,000 hosts, while Class C networks are limited to just 254 usable hosts. This difference in scale was one of the reasons classful addressing became problematic. The fixed sizes often meant large blocks of addresses were wasted, leading to rapid exhaustion of the IPv4 address pool. The rigid structure of classful addressing introduced several limitations that eventually made it unsustainable. One major drawback was its inefficiency. Organizations often received far more IP addresses than they required, which led to significant underutilization of the address space. Additionally, classful addressing lacked the flexibility needed for granular subnetting, making it difficult to adapt to varying organizational needs. These limitations prompted the development of classless interdomain routing, or CIDR, which provided a more scalable and efficient way to allocate IP addresses. For more cyber content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Although classful addressing is no longer used in modern networks, remnants of its design are still present in legacy routing protocols. Some older routing protocols were designed with classful addressing in mind and do not transmit subnet mask information along with route advertisements. This means routers receiving these updates must infer the subnet mask based solely on the class of the address. Because of this behavior, these routing protocols are considered classful and are generally replaced by classless protocols in current deployments. Still, this historical dependence makes classful addressing relevant when reviewing older protocol behavior for the exam. In certification subnetting questions, classful addressing is often used as the default assumption when no subnet mask is explicitly provided. This means you are expected to apply the default mask based on the IP address class. For example, if given a 192.168.1.0 address without a subnet mask, you would assume a Class C mask of /24. This assumption becomes your starting point for further calculations, such as determining the number of subnets or hosts per subnet. Understanding how to recognize and apply default classful masks is essential for accurately solving these problems on the exam. Private IP address ranges are associated with specific classful blocks, even though their designation as private does not depend on the class system. Class A includes the private range 10.0.0.0/8, which offers a large number of addresses for internal use. Class B contains 1.72.16.0.0 through 172.31.255.255. Designated with a /12 mask. Class C includes 192.168.1.0 192.0.0 through 192.168.255.255, commonly used in home and small business networks. These ranges are reserved for private use and not routable on the public internet. Several special use addresses fall within classful ranges and play important roles in network operations. The loopback address block, 127.0.0.0.0 through 127.255.255.255, is reserved for internal testing and diagnostics. Any packet sent to this range is looped back to the sending host without ever reaching the network. The range 169.244.0.0 through 169.244.245.455/247 is assigned for automatic private IP addressing, or API-PA, which provides fallback addresses when no DHCP server is available. Finally, 255.255.255.255 is used for local broadcast traffic. When interpreting an IP address, you can identify its class by examining the first octet. If the first octet falls between 1 and 126, it belongs to class A. If it's between 128 and 191, it's class B. If the value is from 192 to 223, it's class C. Knowing the class helps you infer the default subnet mask, which is critical when no mask is provided. For example, a first octet of 172 indicates class B and a default mask of /16. This ability to determine class and mask from a given address is still a common requirement in entry-level exams like the one you're preparing for. The key difference between classful and classless addressing lies in their treatment of subnet masks. Classful addressing uses fixed boundaries, assigning subnet masks based solely on address class. In contrast, classless addressing, as seen with CIDR, allows for flexible subnet mask lengths, regardless of the IP address range. This enables efficient use of address space by allowing subnetting that fits organizational needs more precisely. While classful addressing is easier to understand at first, classless addressing is more scalable and is the standard used in modern networks today. Despite being obsolete in practice, classful addressing retains historical significance. It played a central role in the early development of the internet and influenced the structure of routing protocols and network assignments. Many foundational networking examples are still built around classful concepts to ease understanding. This includes learning how to recognize network and host portions of an address, identifying default masks, and understanding address boundaries. As such, classful addressing serves as a conceptual bridge to more advanced topics like subnetting and classless routing. The exam objectives still reference classful addressing because it provides a foundation for understanding more complex address manipulation. You may be asked to determine the class of a given IP address, identify the corresponding default subnet mask, or evaluate how many hosts can be supported within a particular address class. Additionally, understanding classful design helps you contrast older and newer routing protocols. Mastery of these classful basics can improve your ability to navigate more advanced topics, including VLAN planning, subnetting, and subnetting. In summary, classful addressing organizes the IPv4 address space into standardized blocks based on the value of the first octet. Each class A, B, and C comes with a default subnet mask that defines the size of the network and the number of host addresses it can support. While classful addressing is no longer used in production networks, it remains relevant for exam preparation and foundational knowledge. Understanding classful concepts helps you recognize default behaviors and subnetting problems and provides a historical perspective that supports modern network design principles. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Network Plus Prepcast, your trusted audio guide to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This episode was produced by baremetalcyber.com. For more cybersecurity podcasts, books, and resources, visit baremetalcyber.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, Make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.